Hey, friends. Yay. Welcome to another episode of How I Became Your Mother podcast, which is a place where I, Kalila, a single woman, single childless woman, documents my life to my future children as if they're already listening. This is a manifestation podcast. This is a historic podcast because I am creating these children with you all each podcast at a time, energetically, all of that. So that's what it is. I hope welcome to this episode. This is going to be the third episode back to back to back, which I'm proud of because I wanted to get back on track with the weekly upload. So this is making me grateful that I have 3 weeks in a row recently. And yeah, so this episode is about knowing who your leader is. Who are you following? What are you following? And it's really important. And I actually was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about because I have so many things I want to share with you, but I find that it's best if I share and talk about things that are currently present in my life, and knowing what I'm following and who I am and who I'm following has helped me so much, and I just want to share with you. But before that happens, let's talk about the father update. Okay, the real time my father update. Where is he? What's going on with my dating life? Let's get into the tea. So I think the last time we spoke, it was about a man who stopped me in the airport, told me I was his wife. We haven't yet. We're going to go on a date. He's long distance. We haven't done that. But I am talking to, I'm dating. I'm on the dating apps, this app called Hinge. I'm on Hinge. I am active with meeting people, wanting to meet people, and also having fun, enjoying life. So that's what I'm doing right now. So as of right now, I don't know if I've met your father yet. There are few people who I'm swiping with, who I've connected with, and we have to plan dates. So who knows? Maybe he's one of them. But it's getting close. It's getting really close because of what I'm seeing in my life, and like even in my singleness, quote unquote. I'm experiencing a lot of what I want to experience when I'm partnered. So that's letting me know that the veil is rising and the gap is closing. Like, I'm consistently called beautiful. I'm consistently doted on. Men look out for me. They show me love, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's interests, whether it's fans. And the behavior, the profession of who I am and of my greatness, the consistency, the checking in, the adding value to my life has been happening, and I'm happy with it. I have been ghosting my dating coach because I was behind on payments, and she's just been really, really gracious, but I've been in a shame spiral around that I'm going to work through after that. But I wanted to be transparent there. Okay. So what sparked me to making this episode? And it's actually, this could be considered a little vain, but I think it's only vain to people who don't understand the bigger scope of things. So let me break it down. So I am consistently told that I look younger than I present, professionally, personally, all of that. So I did this big theater intensive about 2 years ago, and that was the consistent feedback, was that my pictures look older than I feel, than my essence, and than my aura, and that I need to close my gap of age And since I've been an actor, since I've been in the business, I've adopted the mentality that black don't crack, that I'm Asian backwards, that I look young. Like, I've always had that. So that's been a supreme level of comfort for me. But I didn't realize it was so, like, I didn't realize until experiencing these past couple of weeks how it's been a choice. Like, I look the way I look because of me choosing to feed into the idea that I'm younger, that I look younger, that I feel younger. And so, like, for example, my homegirl, JB, Auntie JB, she threw a party in Atlanta. She threw 3 parties. She threw a birthday weekend celebration, as we do. I did that for my 35th too. We wanted her to, and I came and made it, so that she threw a 35th birthday celebration. She's 35, I'm 37, so she's younger than me. The majority of the people there were around our age, 30s, maybe 40s. There were a couple of older people, but not many. Like, the age group was 30s, 40s. And the disparity between people who were dancing and people who were not, I would say out of the entire party, probably 20% of the guests were actively jamming on the dance floor. This stands out to me because, first of all, the DJ, I'm trying not to get so excited. I want y'all to hear. My friend JB and I have spent a lot of time partying, a lot of time dancing, a lot of time having celebrations, because that's something that we enjoy. We spent a lot of time dreaming, being accountability partners, supporting each other in our businesses, supporting each other familially. But the core of a lot of our connections have been in being outside and being vibrant. And so she is aware of how to throw a party, and it was superb. The DJ was out of this world, like, very good, very, very good. I couldn't sit down. I could not sit down. I was eating. I'm like, yo. And I'm looking around and I'm getting sad because I'm realizing that my peers are choosing to either surrender to this idea that partying is young, that we don't do that anymore, that their knees are old, that it looks crazy to be whatever the thoughts are that keeps people in their seats when there's a fire DJ, more so than in the past when we were younger. Like, those are the thoughts that I was thinking of. And I'm just like, wow, like, I think about the consistent rhetoric when I'm talking to friends, and even just looking at things on social media around people dancing and the stuff. And the rhetoric is like, my knees are old. I don't, like, we ruined our knees when we were dancing all throughout the early 2000s and in college, and we just need to sit down, and we're getting older, and this is the end. This is kind of like we're winding down. Like, that youthful partying vibrancy piece that was popping in college is no longer fitting in this. Like, people prefer to be in the house. People prefer to be in their bed. People prefer, those are the thoughts. So I was looking around. I'm like, oh, okay. This is what happens when you're out of practice of having fun socially. And I do want to say that I give my generation and everybody that's still alive right now a lot of grace, because the pandemic and having the world shut down socially, and people like die because of being close, definitely, I'm sure, has a lot to do with the psyche. It has a lot to do with why a person wouldn't just jump back in to dancing, to partying, to socializing. But the problem with that is, if you used to have fun by partying, and now instead of partying, you're sitting on your couch scrolling, or instead of partying, you are watching TV, or instead of partying, if that level of invigoration, of joy, of connectivity, and of like the actual physical aspect of dancing, what that does for your body, how that releases certain endorphins, how that, that keeps you fit because you're physically moving. That's like a physical thing. When we were in college partying every weekend, and I was partying throughout my high school, there's also a portion of that that's athletic and is keeping your body moving. If that is no longer priority in your schedule, you're now lacking that area of fun. Now, this is not like, I want to address the people that's like, okay, we have fun in different ways. Now, I have added a lot of things into my life that I would never be doing as a kid. Like, I know how to grow and evolve and to find adult fun things. Like, I am learning that I really enjoy cooking. I really enjoy it. Like, I enjoy it. I'm learning that I like looking at appliances and decorating things and thinking about like my future. I enjoy my to-do list. I enjoy crossing things out of my to-do list. I enjoy, like, those are adult things that is like fun. But just because I am learning how to have fun in adult ways doesn't mean that I need to throw away all of those inner child fun things. So I just wanted to be like clear with you as my boo, as my my heart, that the things that you enjoy, that you love doing while you were younger, are definitely going to be the things that keep you young. That the reason people look at me and think that I look 10 years younger is not because I'm an anomaly. It's not because of my genes. Now, there are certain things that support, that help out. There's certain things, but it's not because of that. It's because I choose to. I feel young. I'm going to continue to do the things that make me feel good, that feel like fun. And that's the actual key to staying youthful. Now, how does this connect to the topic, which is who do you follow? What do you follow? It's important to follow. I wanted to bring this up because I got introduced to the law of attraction in 2014. And I really locked into it. I understood a lot of the things, but it wasn't until 2021-ish, 2020, 2021, where I decided to make it my beacon and use the person, Esther Hicks, who is a spiritual leader who speaks from the lens of the law of attraction. It wasn't until then that I decided, this is what I'm going to follow. Like, this is what I'm going to follow. So, okay. I wanted to bring this up because if you, like, after I kind of separated from Kojic when I went to college, and I didn't have a spiritual grounding, that also meant that I didn't really have one clear leader in my life. Like, I didn't have a theory or a system that I was following. And you might be like, what are you talking about? Like, you just wake up every day, you figure out what you want to do. But what I was realizing was that when I didn't have a clear doctrine, is that doctrine? Is that what it is? Doctrine? Okay, I just looked it up. Yes, I was right. Okay. I don't think I've ever used that before. I didn't have a clear doctrine. So it was like, it gave a lot of either formal kind of old school general rules. So like, just be a good girl. Just be good. work hard, go after what you want and make it right. But the individual day to day, like how do I get what I want? It was very uncertain. It wasn't clear. Because on one end, I was thinking about Christianity and what I was raised in with Kojic, and it being like you have to follow these sets of rules in the Bible, or else you're going to go to hell. And then there are other things where it's like, oh, none of that matters. Like, it's just do what you do. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right, because I know God is real. I know that, like, and it was causing me to make decisions based off of how I feel versus what I know. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. Did I already give this example? I might have given this example already, which lets you know how much it means to me, but I don't care. I'm gonna bring it up again, and that's it. So I put together the room. I invited the people that was going. I got online for like the Beychella tickets, Coachella, where Beyonce was there. Like, I was the one that facilitated my friends going together. I found the house. I booked the place. Everybody was doing it to get, like, helping, but I was the one that led that group to go to Beychella. I booked a children's show. Now, this was a very, very low budget children's show for a very, very low budget theater that we had to like build stuff and go around to different schools, and like that was the gig. So initially, when I booked it, my agent was like, and I was like, oh, I didn't know at that point in my career how to navigate that relationship that well. So I tell my agent, like, yeah, I have something planned. I have something booked. I'm going to Palm Springs at this time, so I can't do it. And she came back to me with like, if you're not serious about your career, maybe this is something that you need to rethink. Like, this is something that you shouldn't, you should rethink, and you need to focus on your career and really make sure that this is what you want to do. Now, so I chose not to go. I chose to give up my ticket, sell my ticket, and my friends went on the trip that I planned to Coachella, and they had the time of their lives. And it was a very, very historical moment. It's a moment that I knew I wanted to be a part of and that it valued to my life. The children's show, it was fun. It was cool, but it was something that was, I don't even remember my castmates at that time. I don't even remember the experience. It was just another gig. Now, in my career now, because I know who I follow, what I follow, and what I follow is my purpose. I feel like I was put here to contribute to people through my talents, my gifts, my awareness, my perspective, and bring people closer to themselves. Sometimes I use gifts of singing and dancing and entertainment and making people laugh. Other times I speak to their specific heart. Like, that's what I know. And I also know that in order for me to continue to be a light and to continue to pour into people, that I have basic needs that keep me going. And one of those things, which is a core value of mine, is pleasure and fun, especially as it pertains to traveling, as it pertains to music, as it pertains to friendship. All of those things really, really pour into my heart. And I know this now because I look back into my life and I realize, like, oh, okay, this is something that I need. This is something that keeps me young. Being around my friends, like, this is not something that was a happening. And I didn't know that back then, because I'm thinking that she is my agent. She knows, so she must be, she must be right. Whereas in that instance, I could have said, I totally get that perspective, but in this choice, for this job, for this specific thing, this means more to me than this. If this were a Broadway show, if this were a company that were that the value held more to me than this, then maybe we could have talked. But I was so worried about looking bad. I was worried about like her not wanting to represent me anymore. And come to find out, that was a learning lesson on what am I following? Who am I following? Because at the end of the day, I'm the driver. So speaking back to you, baby girl or boy, who's driving your car? You are the only person that knows what you need to be doing. Now, when you're younger and when you're getting equipped with the world, you're learning things. That's why we talk to mommy. That's why we talk to daddy. That's why we look. That's why we research. That's why we read, so that we can gain additional knowledge. But as far as who is the boss, the primary voice of reason in your life, it's you. And beyond that, who are you deciding to follow? What are you deciding to do? So let me explain how I came around to following the law of attraction. And this is I think this may help too, because I firstly, and we've talked about this, I consider myself poly-religious. Is that what it? No, not poly-religious, but more so like like bilingual as it pertains to religion. I believe that I can understand the essence of what most religions are saying and put it in ways that make sense to my heart, that go past and that see through the human limitations that vessel may be exploring or expressing. Whereas before, it felt like I was raised to believe one doctrine, like this is the right doctrine. Everything else is not. I don't believe that anymore. So I believe that, first of all, I don't understand how anyone can think that the creator would create so many different types of people, different types of religions, different types of experiences, different types of backgrounds, different types of worldviews. And we think that there's only one spiritual language that's right. Like that to me is drinking the Kool-Aid. So that lets me believe that there's regional stuff. That's why there are typically in different regions, there are religions that dominate, because that is typically the language of that region. That's how those people connect with God, whether it was revealed to them through certain texts, whether it's just in that is that. So for me, as I've learned to accept people, accept religions, accept the fact that God is everywhere and he's not just in the Bible, has helped me actually solidify the doctrine. And so I really enjoy the law of attraction because it speaks firstly around monitoring, developing, and securing our own individual inner beings. So before we look to the Bible, before we look to the pastor, before we look to past stuff, consult within. Now, at first, I'm like, what do you mean? How can we consult? Like, who are you talking to? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean? But then I learned that our intuition, that our emotions actually are the things that are our guiding systems. And when I learned that we have built-in GPSs around which roads we can take that aligns with our mission, our purpose, and our soul, and that the other stuff, the religion, the people talking on the platforms, the text, that is there to validate. That's there to affirm. That's there to remind. That's there to ground. But the first person that we need to be consulting with around what we are doing is ourselves, because your emotion is going to let you know who, like, if you, for example, or I'll say what it is. The way Esther / Abraham presents it is like, emotion is energy in motion, right? And every single thing that exists now was once the same thing. Because it's like we all break down to, not a phone call in the middle of my thing. Hold on. Okay, my bad. We all break down to the same thing. Isn't it electrons, right? Electrons. That's what we all, it's all energy. And that lets me know that we're all connected and that the source is within. Like when people be talking about, you got to look within, it's not fake. It's not fake. But the issue is that, the habit is that we've been groomed to look outside of ourselves. We've been groomed to ask. You groomed to go to someone else first, whether that's to your Bible, to your pastor, to you're groomed to go there versus learning how to master speaking to God within. And that has been a journey. Like I started meditating in 2020, and I feel like my guidance system got very clear. Like, and what I mean by my guidance system is like, now I look for sermons and speeches and videos and those things to confirm, validate, or even, I'm also open to new stuff. I'm not saying that everything that I'll get is from within. I'm just clear around who and what I'm following, and the fact that it's not a right or wrong thing. It's around following what resonates with you. So what I want you to do is, we're going to already have, by now, we will have affirmations that you say. We will have anchoring things that we will be working on every morning. As your mommy, daddy, we will have our time that anchors you into the ritual piece, the daily piece, because that's another thing that I had to learn. Not only did I have to figure out how to follow something or someone, I had to figure out how to have devotion time daily. And I want to build that into our experience as your parents. So I want to already have that set. I want you to know private time with God, private time with meditation, private time with your inner being is every day. And it's a great time. It's something that we look forward to. Like, that's my vision for how our household will be. So the only thing I want you to do is, after you are clear around what the foundation is, which is that you, and the foundational affirmations that I'd like to share with you will be, the foundation will be letting you know that it's within you. So all things are working for my good. Life is rigged for me. My inner being knows. Like those certain things around, like, you know. And if you don't know, there are clues. The universe, the world is conspiring to show you. I want you to be aware of the signs. I want you to be aware of the clarity. Also, we're born with a lot of gifts, like clairvoyance, clairaudient, all of those powers are just actually how we perceive the world. You know how they say that the people don't use a certain portion of the brain. That's not because we don't have it. That's just because it's not what's required. It's not something that we're focused on. So I want to focus on your powers of spirituality, on the things that you find connection with. And then hopefully we can come up with the doctrine that you'll follow. And then after that, you'll be able to explore and see what things you'll want to do as an adult, because it's still up to you. Okay, so I feel like that I combined a couple of segments. That was a spark. It was a couple of memories. But what I've taken from having something or someone to follow is a sense of focus and a sense of knowing. And that knowing has supported my faith, because faith, the idea of believing in something that's not seen, is inherently difficult in our place where we are, our universe, our life, our world, because we are really, really focused on what's present, what's real, what's reality. We live in a reality. So when faith is apparently the key to everything, you go to Christianity, you go to Islam, you go to faith, believing, you go to, Hinduism, Buddhism, everybody talking about believing in stuff that's not there. So for me, I had to understand, okay, if we're believing in something that's not there, I have to figure out a way to know that faith is right. Like so I spent the last few years of my life looking back, documenting my journey of 37 years and saying, okay, so when have I felt like this before? Like, when have I felt like the world was going to end? When have I felt like there was no answer, that I have been begging, that I've been asking, that I've been praying, and that he's not hearing me, and that I'm at the edge, and then that this is the rock bottom? And like, have I ever felt like that before? And if I've ever felt like that, what has happened? The first time that came up for me, the first time, did I say this already? It's okay. You may not have listened to that. The first time I said this was, or that the first time that this came up was when I graduated college, and I graduated with my BFA, and I have been, I've been so adamant about not going to grad school. I wanted to work. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a job. I didn't want to go to grad school. I wanted to work. I spent 8 years training. If we combine high school and college, I'm like, this is paid. Actually 9 years, because I did an extra year because we didn't get admitted until later, because we were out of state students at A&T. So I was like, this is paid. But so I graduated on my birthday, May 7th, and I went back home, and my goal being home was to find a job. Now I came back to work at like a little job, like I think I had like went back to Applebee's, or I went back to like one of those jobs. But my plan was to get a job, and there was this one specific job, which was going to sing in a cover band in Singapore, all expense paid. You get your own room in your own house, in a cast house. You get to sing every night. There was another person who had been in the school, who we had known had done it, so it was already vetted. She was talking to the head of the department, all of that. That was the gig that I had then set my eye out on. But I continued to send her auditions, and they were not accepted. Like every week I would send her a new audition, and she was like, nah. So it was one lady that was the liaison, and then it was the actual person, like basically like casting. I was sending it to casting, and casting's like, I'm not gonna send it to the producers until it's a good tape. And she was just kept telling me like, nah, you gotta do better. I don't feel it. You're not doing it. Like they're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. No. And that went on for like, if I came back May. So I probably came back in May, June, July, August. I feel like I left at the end of November, and I didn't get booked till October. So from May to October, it felt like I made the worst mistake ever. I was like, oh my God, like I'm never going to get cast. This lady doesn't like me. What am I doing? I should have I should have like tried for scholarships. I should have auditioned. I should have tried for grad school. Like, what am I doing? I'm not talented, this lady. And then it's singing, which was an area that I was already not fully comfortable with because of BFA. Like, even though I sing at that time, I thought it was a like smaller or side talent versus it being something that was, fully something I could do. So all of those thoughts had me feeling like, oh, Like, the world is ending. None of this matters. Like, I should probably die. Like, it gave rock bottom in that time. And then I look back and I'm like, girl, you were quote unquote unemployed in an industry where 90% of people are unemployed for 4 months. June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. And those 5 months, I remember I was going to bed crying, feeling like a failure. I would tell, my mother would come home because I went back to live with her, which also felt crazy. And I'd be like, Ma, my mom and my grandmother. And I'd be like, Ma, like, I promise, like, I'm working hard. I'm going to try to get out. And she's like, you are good. Like, you just got back from college. Like, you're good, bro. And I'm like, no, like, I remember that. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, that was 5 months. And what was crazier about that situation is if I would have gotten that gig initially, like, the first time I auditioned, I would not have been able to go with my cousin, because what also happened was my cousin, who was like a brother to me, we're only 10 months apart. We were raised like siblings in a way. Back when cousins was getting together all the time, we was raised like that. He, during this time where I'm going back and forth auditioning, he had also decided that he wanted to be a rapper, and they also had a position open up for a rapper. So the whole time I'm auditioning, I get an idea. I'm like, oh my God, Monza, they need a rapper. Do you want to come? Like, you want to go to Singapore? Like, it's lit. And he's like, yes. So we both are working on our auditions together. And then we both book, and I get to be abroad with my cousin, which was, and also the timing of everything worked out, because even while I was abroad during that specific contract, which was a different contract because it was 5 months difference, during that specific contract, there was another audition for Hong Kong Disneyland that happened in Singapore, which was how I booked the next gig. While I booked that other gig while I was already in Singapore, that it might not have happened that way. And so I look back on that situation. I'm like, oh, okay, actually, I needed other things to line up for me in order for me to have this work out. What was another position? Jesus Christ, the Lion King. I wanted that gig. Whole time, there's people in the Lion King that have auditioned for that show like 8-9 times. I sent it an open call for Nala, got to the end, and then my boo Nia got it. And the next time, and I was so tight. I was so tight. Whole time, didn't know that the Lion King always needs people. Didn't know that there was always going to be an opportunity. Didn't know that. I'm just like, yo, they didn't want me. It's clipped. I said, let me get on this cruise. Because that was one thing that I knew that I could book, because cruise ship shows seemed just doable. They seemed attainable and doable, especially after doing cover band singing, which is also another thing, because I auditioned for a cruise ship out of college and they didn't take me. But after I had gotten my reps in singing 5 nights a week, my voice became a beast. Then I put together a tape and I got 3 offers. I got 3 offers to do a show off of a tape. They didn't even see me. 3. NCL, Princess Cruises, and Royal sent me offers within a week. And so I was like, oh, okay. I jumped right on that ship. Lion King definitely called me back within 3 months, and I couldn't go. And then the next time I met with them in person is when I booked it. They had called me again after the cruise ship and said that we want you to come in, but then they turned around that they didn't need us anymore. They called a vacation swing. That broke my heart. That whole time I was so upset. It was so nerve-wracking to want this gig so bad, to feel connected, because I had manifested that gig. On the cruise ship, I was visualizing. I had learned all of the cast members' names. I knew the songs. I was just visualizing. I made a musical theater playlist while I was on the cruise ship so that I could embody being in a Broadway show, like being on Broadway. And I was listening to that while I was, getting ready for my little cruise ship shows. And this whole time not realizing, like, this is what's supposed to be happening, ma'am. Like, you needed all of these things in order to get to the next step. But at that time, I didn't know what I was following. Like, I thought I was just following my emotions. So it was just like, okay, I feel good. You say you're an actor, go audition. Like, go do it. They don't want you, something must be wrong with you. Like, that was my reasoning. Versus now, with me knowing who I am and what I have, I realize that everything is working out for me. I look back at my life, everything happened as it should have. And if you don't, and if the other part of that is, that's intentional too. Like, because I know that faith is the way to continue to step forward, I needed to deconstruct my thoughts to figure out how faith feels like the next best thing. Faith is my comfort zone. Surrendering is my comfort zone. Like, so I started figuring out like, oh, okay, well, you're just going to have to figure out how to believe in magic and the stuff that is causing you to pull you down to reality, i.e. the news, i.e. People highlighting what's happening in the 3D. That is actually a contradictory. So you want to maybe ease into those types of things, but primarily highlight experiences that show the magic, that show God looking out, that show that actually the world and things are rigged. I have been given an immense abundance amount of talent, an abundance of friendships, an abundance of just an abundance. We think about having running water, always having heat, always having clothing, always having food. You know, I grew up in cars. I grew up with technology. I had a cell phone. I was in one of the major cities of the world. Like, and now you, as my child, are going to have a really, really great life because that's what I want to gift you. You know, your struggles and your circumstances around progress and your mission of life, the way I see it, is not going to be around wealth. You know, you may have a mission around friendship. You may have a mission around philanthropy. You may have a mission around family. You may have a mission around, you know, wellness, whatever, but it's not going to be around money because I want to take care of that. That's what my goal is this go round. But either way, you're going to have a mission. Either way, this life is going to wring you. It's going to wash you. That's the whole point. It never stops. So the most important thing is to know, like, be like aware and say, okay, what is my doctrine? Another way is like, or another thing is like the 4 agreements. Like, so I'll also read things, read information, and apply it. So there's this other book that was very interesting and similar to Abraham Hicks's work, but coming at it from a scientific way. And it's called, it's called The New Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz and Dan Kennedy. This is Audible. And it's a mind technology for living your life without limits. And it had a lot of non-spiritual overlaps scientifically around exactly what Abraham Hicks has been saying, which has further given me more evidence around spirituality and God being a language. Because someone could read what Abraham is saying and she's talking about energy, and another person can read what Maxwell and them is saying and they're talking about repetition. They're talking about how for years and years athletes and Olympians and people of high achievement have been using the ability to visualize to get them to their goals. Like having a mental rehearsal of your event, running your event in your mind is the same thing as when you're running it on the field. And athletes and Olympians have been doing it for years, but we don't know. We don't think that everyone doesn't think that that's how we can navigate our lives, which is, yes, that's the way. You think about what you want, you visualize it, you put in the work, and then you do it. Like, but reading that book, for someone who feels a little against the Abraham, or the people that's like, oh my God, Christian, God, Jesus, you know, no shade. This is not shade. Because I am a Christian. I believe in God. So this is not shade, but I'm just saying those people may be able to look at it and hold on to the religion that speaks to their language spiritually, but also gain something from this scientifically. So what I am keeping is this inner child work, the fun, the flavor, the energy, the youthfulness. What I am leaving is my generation's propensity to anticipate our demise early. I have a family member who's very, very close to me. He's 8 years younger than me. And he was talking about, so if I'm 37, my family member is 29. No, am I right? Right. My family member is 29 and talking about how he is about to, he's getting old and he got to go find somewhere to settle down. And I'm like, if we are claiming that we're getting old before middle age, what do you think our joints are hearing? What do you think our cells are going to do? Everybody keeps saying, oh, I'm old, my knees this, I don't want to go out. Do you understand that you're slowly killing yourself? Like you're literally killing yourself. Your cells are alive. They can hear you. They can hear what you're saying. So every time you say, I got to pack it up. You know what happens? Hairline recedes. You know what happens? One of the cells give up. So I want to keep this understanding of being conscious and that we are choosing our experience in way more ways than we are taking responsibility for. What I want you to know is that you are the boss of you. And you are probably going to have a lot of friends. You're going to have a lot of loved ones. You're going to always be around a lot of people, at least as my child, because that's the kind of life that I want you to have, is exposure to the greats. And I want you to know that even though there will be a lot of people in your life that will add to you, that will lift you up, that you can expand with, that you can progress with, your word, that inner being, your intuition, whether you hear it clearly in your head, say yes or no, whether you feel it in your stomach, whether you get goosebumps, whether your hands stay in the back of your neck, whether you look at some numbers and you assign numbers and you assign signs like, hey, if I see a pink elephant, I know this means yes. Like whatever you do for your perception that helps you navigate your own emotions and your own driver's seat is perfect. And that's what matters. I would much rather you pick a doctrine, choose it, and realize, okay, I've outgrown that. And then move on than to be like, wait, Mom, what should I be doing? Who should I be listening to? It's you. You are well equipped. You're smart. You're connected. You're open. You were born that way. You were born with everything you needed. And I want you to know that mommy supports you. And I support your own individuality. Period. Okay, great. So the next thing I want to do is jump into the 36 questions to fall in love. So for those of you who may be listening to this for the first time, I have a segment on my show that is based off of the New York Times best-selling article, 36 Questions to Make You Fall in Love, because I thought it would be an amazing way for my baby to know who I am first, vulnerably, and for them to fall in love with me. Oh, and you too as readers, period, listeners. Okay, so this question is, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I think I would this question makes me, it just makes me emotional. And I didn't expect to cry. So I'm not even going to pause it. I'm just going to have these feelings. and say what I have to say. So I have such huge dreams. I've always had such huge dreams. And sometimes sometimes it feels hard to have such huge dreams. Sometimes I wish that I wanted less. And I know that might sound that might sound crazy, but sometimes I wish that I wanted less. Like, I wish that I was content with like a boring, no, excuse me, use the right language. I wish that I was content with a more easily attainable goals. Like, I wish that I was content with middle class living. I wish that I was content with a decent man. I've had so many, all my exes have been decent. None of them are serial killers. All my exes are good people. And yet that's not, I want more. And I think that if I could go into the crystal ball, I wouldn't want to know. Like, I wouldn't ask any questions. I would just want to see the visions that I have in my head pop through. Like, I want to see my whole family traveling together and not having to worry about money and being exposed to their power and their skin, everybody clearing up. I want to see, my peers understanding their worth and not being like caught in between what old views and what they should be doing. I want to see people empowered. I want to see my loved ones and extensions of my loved ones empowered. So I would probably just ask the crystal ball to show me that, to show me my pinnacles at my different spots. Show me my wedding day. Even if you don't want to show me him, show me that I get what I want. Show me a picture of like, me being, show me a video of me being like wheeled into the birthing center about to have my babies, knowing with my rock on my hand. Like, show me a picture of my family on a catamaran in a tropical island from a villa we've rented. Like, I would just want to see flashes of my dreams that I have. That would be what I would want to know. But was not expecting to cry, child. Okay, child. That was a good question. Oh my God. Okay. Well, thank you for listening. I didn't expect this episode to be this long. I'm not mad at it. I'm just like, whoa, okay, cool. We talking, we chat. And I thank you for listening. I thank you for being there. I would love feedback if you are listening. Thank you for witnessing me. And if you could send me a review or a message or a call or a voice note, that would be amazing. I would love to hear your thoughts on these things. And to you, my baby, my love, whenever you hear this, just know, like, I was thinking of you. I was learning, growing, and preparing myself for you. Also preparing a world, an ecosystem for you to thrive in. And I just cannot wait to meet you and see who you become. Until next time, I will see you later.